Alright, so in this video what we're doing is talking about linear regression. You might have done something like this before, so let's go and get started. So we have a few definitions to begin with. So a scatter plot is used to determine whether there is a relationship between paired data. If y tends to increase as x increases, then the paired data is said to have a positive correlation, and you can see a picture here. So as y increases, x also increases. That's positive correlation. And then if y tends to decrease as x increases, then the paired data is said to have a negative correlation. And again, another picture. So as y decreases, x increases. And then if there's no linear pattern at all, then the paired data is said to have relatively no correlation. And that's our last picture right here. Just all the dots are kind of scattered all over the place. And you can't really make any kind of determination at all. So now what we want to be able to do is to create our own scatter plot. So here in this example, what I have is the enrollment for the City Year National Youth Service Program from 1989 to 1998. So even though this data is pretty old, we can use it to create a scatter plot. So in our first row, we have the years since 1989, and in the second row we have the enrollment for each year since 1989. Now, we're going to put this information in our calculator, but first let's talk about what the table actually means. Our first row is always going to be our input values, so we typically use x as our input values. And our second row is always going to be our output values, or our y values. So what we want to first do is come up with the best fitting line for the data. So to do that, we're going to use our calculators. And what you want to do is hit the Stat button and go to Edit. Edit just means to change the information that's already in there. I'm actually going to move my calculator out of the way so we can see the entire table. Now, I've already got some stuff here in my calculator. Hold on, I'm having some technical difficulties. Yeah, let's do that. So I've already got some stuff in my calculator, so what I want to do is clear that stuff out. So I'm going to go up to L1, highlight L1, and hit clear. Do not hit delete. If you hit delete, you're going to have to reset your calculator. You don't want to have to do that unless you absolutely have to. And then I want to also clear out the information that's in L2. So just highlight L2, hit clear, and then hit enter. Now what I want to do is to put in all my information. Again, our first row goes in L1. So I have 0 through 9. So take a few minutes and just type that in. I am 2. Okay, and once you have that first row entered, then you can go ahead and go to L2 and type in that information. Now the first couple of pieces of information are covered up, so 57 and 76 are my first entries in L2. So take a few minutes and put in L2 as well. And take your time, make sure you put in the numbers correctly, because if you miss a number, it's going to mess up our scatter plot that we're trying to make. So make sure that we all put in the same information, that way we all end up with the same picture and nobody has any kind of like, well, my picture doesn't look the same, I don't understand what's going on. You don't want that. So if you do get an error or something funky looking, the very first thing you should check is make sure you typed in the scatter plot correctly. Okay, and as always, what I would suggest is you double check what you've typed in and make sure that everything's entered in correctly. Looks like mine's pretty good, so what I'm going to do now is hit Stat. Move my calculator over again a little bit. I want to hit Stat, and then I want to go over to the Calc menu. I want to do option 4. Which is for linear regression. Now, linear regression is it's going to create the equation of the best fit line, and it's going to be in the format ax plus b. We typically write a line as mx plus b. So that's okay. So here A is our slope, B is our y-intercept. And it gives us some parameters, y equals ax plus b. So it tells us that A is going to be 110, and let's round to 2 decimal places, so A is 110.12. So here, everywhere I see an A, I'm going to put in 110.12. Everywhere I see a B, I'm going to put in negative 21.62. Now, we wanted to see this scatter plot, so I'm going to go to y equals. And up here, I'm just going to clear out whatever is in y equals already. If you have stuff in your calculator, clear that out. And once you've cleared it out, go up and highlight plot 1. Hit enter. Notice that when I scroll away now, plot 1 stays highlighted. That's what you want to happen. And I want to go to my graph now. Well, nothing shows up. Don't freak out. What you need to do is hit zoom. And this time we're going to go to zoom option 9, which is zoom stat, because that's the button we hit, stat. We hit that button at the very beginning. So zoom option 9 for zoom stat. And now we can see our scatter plot. And based on the way this is going, y is increasing as x is increasing. So that is a positive correlation. And we can actually, if we remember from the previous screen, go back to the home screen, the main screen, we can, it looks like mine got erased, but what we can do is go back, stat, calc, option 4 for linear regression. Again, we get our equation of our best fit line. 110.12 is our A. Negative 21.62 is our B. So what I would suggest is you write that down. So I'm going to type that in now. 110.12 and negative 21.62. Oops. So just take your time, make sure it's entered in correctly. Okay, and then once you have it in correctly, just hit graph. And that's the equation of the best fit line. Notice that this line passes through pretty much the exact middle of these points. And we can use this line now to, so we approximated the best fitting line for the data. That's what we did. Now, if the pattern continues, what we want to do is figure out how many people will enroll in the city program in the year 2010. Well, to do that, we need to ask ourselves, row 1 is talking about the years since 1989. So how many years are between 1989 and 2010? So to do that, we can use our calculator again. So I'm just going to go to the home screen, so second quit. So we want to say 2010 minus 1989. And that means there's 21 years that have passed. So again, this scatter plot that we have here with the best fitting line in there is going to be used to predict how many people enrolled. So we want to go to our second window, which is going to take us to our table setup. We want to start our table at 21 because that's our x values. Then we're going to go to the table second graph. And at 21, we can see that there's approximately 2,290.9 people enrolled. So again, 21 years since 1989, Y1 is telling us how many people are actually enrolled. So the answer there was 2,290.9. Now you can't really have 0.9 people. This is just an approximation. So it would be fair to estimate up or round up to 2,291 people enrolled in the City Year National Youth Service program in 2010. And that's it for this video.